know,
I
for
love
all
work.
intensive attorney purposes, this meeting will be recorded and shared with my instructor.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. Okay. Um, so I am interviewing Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson was able to watch my lesson. I was also able to give my lesson in Mr. Jackson's class. I again just want to say thank you to him and how appreciative I am to not only be able to work in his classroom, but to have the freedom to learn through his classroom. So I appreciate your time today, Mr. Jackson. We'll make this fairly quick. I know it's a Saturday, so we'll try to get this done for you. Um, I have watched my video. I've critiqued it a little. Um, so my first question is, based on my analysis of student learning evidence, I'm going to establish what was learned, who learned it, what needed to be learned, and who struggled to learn it. But first, I would actually like to get your take on that, Mr. Jackson, if you could, if you had a few words on that one.
Okay, well, I think there was a variety of things going on. We had trouble with technology. We were in the afternoon, so these guys are tapped out, paying attention. And when we had technical difficulties, there were part of the class was paying attention, and the other part was lacking in the engagement. But I think it was a variety of factors: technology troubles, the afternoon, and these guys were ready to go to vacation. But other than that, I could tell there were kids engaged and paying attention and following along. And I appreciate that. That was a tough lesson to do under conditions.
No, I felt the same way. If we didn't have that half an hour of struggle to get going, I think I probably would have had more engaged. I feel that same way that the internet just, or not the internet, but our technology just unfortunately I wasn't prepared enough for. But I feel the same way that most of the group was engaged, especially in the end when we were watching the Pixar. I thought that was a good way to end it. It definitely kind of brought them back in for that engagement. And I think it did teach the narrative lesson. It's hard to judge what was really taught and what was really learned as I've been watching you. It's really hard to assess them over the internet and over this computer-based learning. So I think I need to prepare a little bit better in ways of assessing so I can gauge what I was, what I learned or what they learned. Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So my next question, thank you by the way, um, is formulate how effective my instruction design was based on my planning and teaching as evidence and data collected. Um, so I think on that one, I think working with you, my planning was there. I think that was effective. Where I struggled was the practice on the technology. I think that was a flop for me. I appreciate you being able to work with me to get it back together, but I felt that my planning, I think, was there. I think you would help me with that one enough to where we were there on that. And data collected, I don't know how to do that quite efficiently over the internet. And I want to keep working with you on that. And I actually wanted to ask you, did you have any suggestions on anything I could have possibly done for that?
Okay, so as we looked at your lesson, I could tell that you planned and you overplanned, and that's good in lesson planning because you always want to overplan and then adjust. And I could tell it was a good lesson. I could tell you were going to engage them and that it had the flow that it needed, a beginning, a middle, and end. My suggestion, you know how we do okay, everyone type it, thumbs up, send it. That would have been instant feedback for you instead of, only a few and the few that always say the answer for everyone else. We try and hold it off. And, we also haven't done the Zoom where we could have, so notice I'm saying
Yeah,
we're
no worries.
individual chat and separate, pair share, that kind of thing. And then, obviously you could do a Google Docs and then, okay, I have a little small quick write, tell me what you learned, and then have a few application questions to evaluate if they actually did get it. You practiced with them, you showed them examples with the video, and I know that kids were getting it because they were responding to the questions correctly. And then I'll say it from my own experience, sometimes I tell them the answer, and we're guilty of that instead of getting it out of them and really checking. You know, I'm guilty of sometimes saying the answer for them instead of seeing if they actually get it. Tough thing.
I agree with you on that one. I totally agree. I think that when you said it, that I just hit it right on the head. The 1, 2, 3, send it. I think I was so frazzled by not being able to hear them and communicate verbally. It just kind of fried me a little on that one, and I totally forgot about the send it. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate that.
Well, sometimes we panic when we know we're being observed too. So it's not as authentic, you know?
Right. I'm still figuring out this online format too. It is it's so cold, I think, and it's hard for me. It's like a cold interface or exchange. Okay, number 3, 2 more to go. We're almost there. Moving forward, how will I plan differently based on the knowledge of student learning characteristics? Which additional strategies and multi-tiered levels of support will I consider? For that one, I step back and I kind of want to piggyback on what you said about the activities that involve them more, kind of the student-driven activity to get more engagement, to drive more of that engagement. I think I can implement more of that. And then the other part I had is to just basically have everything better set up to practice more so that when I give my lesson, I can engage them better. Is there anything that you could add to that by any chance?
I think you're correct. I think the one area we were planning, talking about it at lunch. All right, we're ready. And I guess the backup plan was if it didn't work in your room, we should have just had you come right in my room and take over my computer, and we know it would have been working. So you adapted well under the stress of the technology not working. And I know, you know, from the beginning of the year, the struggle, and I'm still having that struggle, by the way. So it's not something that's easy. All the teachers are complaining, like, this is the toughest way to teach any students, and it's hard to keep them engaged. So I feel like you had a good plan. We probably should have tested it out, and that was our bad. Not just your bad, it's our bad. And we should have had the backup plan. Hey, dude, if it's trouble, come down and go off of my computer. It's working down here. So we adapted it and we fixed it. It just it caused us grief. So you adapted well. I was impressed.
Well, thank you for that. I have to say, if it wasn't for truthfully working and being in your room so far this year, I would have had no idea what to do, honestly. I mean, it is such a different concept to try to do this online, and that was my big, I have it circled like 5 times on my paper, is practice with the technology. So I appreciate that.
Even with practice, technology has its struggles. Sometimes it goes out, the internet connection's bad, and that's part of the reason where we don't always know if they're engaged too, because sometimes our students are having trouble with their internet, and they're saying, hey, it's choppy, I'm not hearing you, what were you guys talking about? And that's not on our end, that's a technology end, and we can't, that's beyond our control.
I didn't even think about that, by the way. Thank you. Awesome. See, dude, you're still teaching me. You're still teaching me to this day.
Well, it's Raya that gives us feedback. If we didn't have the feedback from the students, we wouldn't know.
So. I agree. I have to say, I am so, those few that hang out for us is they're valuable. That little handful is very valuable, I have to say. Okay, on to my last one. How will I modify, extend, or incorporate new levels of presentation, expression, and engagement for each learning group as in their processes of learning? I put for me to slow down. to give better visuals that explain what I want them to learn more with less talk from me, more student-driven learning, I guess, is what I want from them. Use their brain more than my words. Um, Something else to make it relevant, to draw connections. I noticed at the end with the Pixar, it made a connection with them, and they were hooked, man. They were drawn, and I almost wanted to start my lesson all over again from right there. Like, I had a meeting out of my hands after that almost. So I think if I could do that to draw the engagement more at the beginning, I think my lesson would have went smoother, and I could have reached more on the level of the point of view of understanding first and third person. Did you have any suggestions as I go forward that would help possibly with a lesson or to engage more of the students?
I think that it's always good to reflect. I do it every day where we fail sometimes, and then you readjust and you go, all right, which way will I do it? Okay, I'm gonna try it this way. And it works with one group, and the next year it might not work. So you're constantly having to be flexible and change. I like how you evaluated, like maybe you could have changed the order of the lesson and hooked them earlier, and then use that as the platform for your teaching of your perspective. So that was good, like thoughtful, hey, I had them there. Okay, now that I have them there, you can take them forward. I just know you had a well-planned lesson. You did a great job under the tough circumstances. I was proud of you for riding the tough wave, and you rolled with it, and we got help, but it took a while to get that fix. And under those conditions, you did a great job. Proud of you, man.
Well, I not only do I appreciate your time every day, but I really appreciate your time today with this. And ever since the 8th grade, you've always been encouraging me to be in the classroom, and I think I'm finally starting to see why. Honestly, I get a kick out of these kids, and man, I'm on fire in love with trying to build them up. So I appreciate everything, and I thank you for letting me learn in your room, and the reflection you do every day. I love just that. At the end of the day, I think that is, as a new teacher, that's the most important thing from a senior teacher, is that reflection at the end of the day. Your honesty, my honesty, we come together, we talk about it, we laugh about it, and we roll forward the next day. And I appreciate that, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah. Hey, so one last thing.
Yeah.
You are a role model. They love you, and the way you interact when you do like PE with them, and they love you, dude. They do feed out of your hand. And the other thing is, one last thing, just to tidy it up. I remember I was trying to teach independent sentences with the conjunction of and, but, or, are, and I'm like, do you get it? And they're all, yeah. And they told me what I wanted to hear, but when I made them do it on paper and turn it in, only one had it. And so I just kept on turning that paper back. And then we practice. And then finally I got it. So what I've learned through the years is they'll tell me what I want to hear, but I need to see it. And I know you already know that. So great job, good reflection, good lesson, and keep on learning and growing, buddy. You're on it, dude. You're going to replace me and do bigger, better things than I ever imagined. Keep it up.
Not until I get to team teach with you first. That's the first step.
That'd be awesome.
Right? I'm in.
Awesome.
I'm in.
Dude,
all right. I've taken enough of your Saturday, dude. I totally appreciate it. I will see you first thing.
I love working on Saturdays. It's the best thing.
Well, although with this upcoming power outage, we might not be able to work, so I might as well do it right now.
All right, dude. Have a good weekend, man.
All right, you too. I'll see you Monday morning.
Take care. Later.
All right, thank you.
Love you, buddy. Bye.
All right, love you too. Bye.